Welcome. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to make our own silver solder. By making your own, you can save over 50% on solder costs, thus increasing your profits and saving money on the creations you make. It's not difficult and it takes very little time. We can make as much or as little as we want. Before we get started, if you get something from this video, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment. It really does help the channel grow. Click the bell to be alerted of when new videos come out. First, let's take a look at a well-known online supplier. Today we're going to make some easy solder, so I'm going to select that. And we want to do it by weight. We're going to make a ½ ounce of solder today. So this supplier wants 5127 for that ½ ounce of easy solder. Fair enough. They have to make it, they have to mix it and melt it and roll it. But today we're going to take that cost down to about $23. If you have all the equipment and know-how, why buy solder at all? We all have scrap and access to places like Amazon. Let's next take a look at what we need. I've set up a spreadsheet with the recipes for the different kinds of solder, whether it's hard, medium, easy, or extra easy. I've listed the melting points for the same types if you're curious or need them. What we'll be doing today is making easy solder, and we're going to use fine silver, copper, zinc. If we were making extra easy, we'd need just a tiny bit of tin. If you are using sterling scrap, simply recalculate the percentages, knowing that sterling contains 7.5% copper. So if you're using sterling for the silver, you can decrease the copper by that 7.5%. If you want me to do up another spreadsheet to use fine or sterling silver instead of fine silver, just drop a comment. I'll be happy to make one help you calculate it out. Okay. Then what I've done down here is set up the number of grams needed to make a ½ ounce of each of those type. Again, we're going to use easy today. And we'll need those amounts in grams of each material or alloy. Okay, where do we get this stuff? Everybody has silver, scrap, or they're buying bullion or fine silver, whatever's necessary. For pure copper, here's one I found on Amazon. I'm not recommending this seller. I was just searching for it. I've bought it numerous times. 1 pound of pure copper will run about $16. Not too bad, and that should last you many years. Buying pure copper is also handy if you want to mix and melt your own sterling from fine silver. You just need 7.5% of this pure copper, and 92.5% fine silver, and you can make your own sterling. Same thing with zinc. Found a few suppliers. Here's 65 feet of 1.5 millimeter zinc wire, $8.61, and that should be enough zinc to last a lifetime. Okay, so now we know where to get everything, what we need, our recipe, our percentages. So today is April 4th, 2026. And using those Amazon prices and the current price of silver, we're going to spend $23.75 in silver, 12 cents in copper, and 8 cents in zinc. So that same ½ ounce that suppliers want over $50 for is going to cost us $23.95. And maybe 20 minutes of work should give you a ton of solder. Okay, let's talk about what else we're going to need. Going through what we're going to need, we have our copper. I break down into smaller bottles so it doesn't all spill on me at one time. I'm going to use 4/9 fine silver only because I have a ton of it. I make this 4/9 fine with an electrolysis cell, or they call it a silver cell. If you have scrap, perfectly acceptable. Again, recalculate if you need be. We're going to need a scale, something to weigh this stuff out in. We're going to need something to melt it and mix it in, just a little crucible. Again, Amazon or your favorite online supplier. And we'll need something to pour it in. I have a couple of different ingot molds. If you're going to draw out wire, you might want to use a smaller one where you can start taking it down on your rolling mill in the square notches, then pull it through a draw plate to make the wire. Or if you're making something a little wider or even wider, you can use something like this before taking it to the rolling mill. I also, whenever I'm melting anything for any reason, I like to add a little borax to it as it's molten, and I stir it with a graphite rod. Graphite does not mind the molten temperatures, and this will remove impurities, especially if you're using scrap. So graphite rods, super cheap, you get them a lot of different places. Okay, now let's start weighing it all out. According to the recipe, looks like we need 10.1 grams of our silver. And you don't have to be 2 digits accurate with this. You're welcome to, but not necessary. All right, we got about 10.16. We wanted 10.11. Let's break this little piece up, and we'll take another little piece of it, and another piece of it. Here we go. Whoops. Okay, we're pretty close to 10.1. Now we're also going to need how much copper? How about 3.1-ish grams of the copper? And 2.5, 3.11. Wow, perfect. Okay, so we're going to add that. Now the zinc will be going into the melt last. I'll explain that as we're melting it. So we're going to keep the zinc separate. And it looks like we need 2.33 grams of the zinc. So I'm going to take a wild guess here on my zinc. Whoops, shot across the workbench. 2.3. Now that's only 0.65. 1.27. Let's cut a little more. Still looking for about 2.3. Oh, there's 2.1. We'll cut a little smaller piece. That shot across the room too. 2.23. One more little tiny piece. All right, 2.28. That's close enough. And we're going to keep those two separate. Now we have our alloys materials weighed out. And we're going to go out and we're going to melt this stuff. We'll be right back at the hot bench. Let's get melting. I have my crucible slightly tipped because it's a large crucible. And I've started to preheat the crucible and preheat the ingot mold just a little bit. we're going to put the silver and copper into the crucible, and we're going to get melting it. Get myself a nice hot flame so I'm not here all day. And we'll begin the melt. Solder's starting to melt. Looks like the copper down there is starting to melt. And we'll just keep going. This being a larger crucible takes a little bit more time. A smaller crucible would melt everything much faster. Now, as it starts to melt and mix, I have a little container of borax. I'm going to put a pinch on it. That acts as a flux. It will remove impurities. And we'll get that down to a nice molten puddle. Now I'm going to start to preheat my graphite rod. There could be some moisture in it and we don't want it to pop. And I'm going to use that graphite rod to stir the borax, the flux, into it, and you can see a lot of that borax stayed on the graphite and removed impurities, which is a wonderful thing. Now, let's talk about the zinc. The zinc has a very low melting temperature, and it's very easy to vaporize the zinc. It's kind of volatile. So the zinc could actually go into the air and decrease the quantity, and we don't want that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the zinc over on one side, and I'm going to concentrate my heat on the silver copper alloy here. As it starts to melt the zinc, it will mix in, and eventually the melting point of the entire blob will lower. But again, I'm going to keep the heat over here a little bit, and hopefully you can see the zinc is already melting just from the hot crucible. See how it's melting there. So we're going to get them all mixed together. You might see a little bit of a greenish blue flame. That's a little bit of the zinc going away because it's overheating. So let's melt the zinc in. When it's all melted, we're not going to spend a lot of time heating that zinc. When it's all melted, we'll stir it around a little bit and then pour it into the ingot mold. Okay, let's get the silver copper remelted. It cooled a bit as I was talking. You notice I'm staying away from the zinc. There goes the silver and copper. I'm going to slowly spread it around to the zinc. And where the zinc starts melting in to the silver, you'll see that little bit of blue flame, a little bit of smoke. You should do this in a very well ventilated area. Now I'm going to melt everything together. Kind of stir it around by shaking it. And now we have a homogeneous mixture of solder. Now, once it's all melted,
we simply pour it into the mold. And that part's done. Now at this point, you have a molten ball of solder, and I'm going to quench it real quick. That way I can hold it without burning myself. Yeah, ½ ounce of solder. At this point, if you're going to draw it out using a draw plate, fine. If you're going to use a rolling mill, you can start rolling it. I recommend maybe 30 gauge for solder, for sheet. Cut it into pallions, whatever you need to do. That's all there is to it, to making solder. Let's go back to the bench.
All right, we've poured it, we've rolled it. I got this down to somewhere between 28 and 30 gauge. I hit it with a little 400 sandpaper. And with our handy dandy shears, we can cut this into multiple size pallions, put it in a little container, and you're good to go on easy. You could make some medium, some hard, keep them around. Something I want to mention on either drawing wire from it or rolling it. There's a lot of copper in this. It's going to be hard. It is going to require annealing like any other material. But be aware of that zinc and that high quantity of copper in it. It will want to oxidize much easier than sterling or fine silver. So go easy on the annealing. Take your time. Roll it out as many passes as you need. It doesn't have to be straight. You notice we had a real wonky pour. It doesn't matter. This is solder. Chop it up however you like it. Okay, if I've missed something, please drop a comment. Or if you have a question, drop a comment. I'll do my best to answer it. And with that, making your own solder and saving money. It's a beautiful thing. Be well. Be creative, and we'll see you next time.